Last week, the top bosses of Burnett Worldwide, Tom Bernardin and Asia head Jarek Zhibensky, I hope I got that right, were in India, and they were here to celebrate the India shop, making it as the Global Agency of the Year for the entire network. It was also a chance to scope out the future. Preeta Dasgupta reports.
Awards are certainly a way to judge an agency's expertise, but the economic slowdown may prove to be a blessing in disguise for Burnett India and come in more handy than the awards. Burnett plans to invest 15 to 20 crore rupees on its India operations in the new fiscal. This decision has been guided by the paucity of opportunities in markets like the US and Western Europe, and it is banking on the high double-digit growth predicted for its Indian division.
I look at investing in talent because we're a people business and we're only as good as our people. So I have urged our people here to be very aggressive in terms of acquiring the creative talent that drives our business and every aspect of every kind of talent that drives our business. So that's the one hand. On the other hand, there's outright acquisitions of other firms or companies that complement the strategy of Burnett. So whether those might be digital companies or design companies or shopper marketing companies, that's to be determined.
Burnett India says that the Global Agency of the Year tag will also help it grab more in-sourced work, that is the projects that they do for their international counterparts, and this in turn is expected to contribute to at least 10% of the annual revenues. Earlier in 2003, when Burnett India was selected the Global Agency for the first time, it became the creative hub in India as well as internationally for two of P&G's big-ticket brands, Tide and Whisper.
Around the world, there's a lot of work that gets given out, whether it's in the digital space or it is in the production space, in all kinds of areas. And once it is established that Burnett India, quality one doesn't have to worry about. That overcomes a lot of hurdles, right? So then the conversation can be, do we have right work processes in place? Are the cost advantages significant? So there are a whole of benefits that accrue from a recognition like this.
Burnett India, that has been growing at an average rate of 20% over the past decade, grew by 15% in 2008. This year, they've revised down their expectations to between 10 and 11%. This is despite the fact that the agency is the third highest revenue contributor in the Asia-Pacific region, after China and Japan. Globally, Burnett grew by just 4.5% in 2008. And in 2009, the agency is predicting a growth rate between 1 and 2%.
We probably will have double-digit growth here in India in 2009. We're doing well in China, not as well as I'd like to. China is also, suffering from the global economic recession. But we've made some strategic acquisitions in China that have really, I think, been the right ones for us and will help us in 2010 and beyond. And we've got other markets in Europe, in Eastern Europe, that we're doing relatively well versus the recent projections, which has Eastern Europe, as you know, down by 13.5%. We're seeing some of our big markets in Eastern Europe, like Russia, for example, staying relatively even versus 2008.
In terms of new business wins, globally, Burnett has recently bagged the Samsung mobile account, and sources disclose it is now eyeing the Lufthansa business. But experts say to sustain growth, it needs to continue adding new accounts, as many of its existing clients have slashed advertising budgets by at least 15 to 20%.
Next on notice board, this clutter-breaking spot for Indigo. The economic slowdown has added to the drop in air passenger traffic, and that has made low-cost carriers the preferred mode of travel, even for corporate travelers. With a 13.7% market share, Indigo is at the top of that category. Good time to advertise and good advertising.
Meet Ajay, a senior executive whose job demands that he travels a lot.
Just because they're paying a low price, it doesn't mean we need to give them that kind of quality. So I think this film again has that kind of insight which we all go through. Every day you travel through airport, you know what's going on, Like even the smartest of us will push and pull and, that kind of thing. The spirit behind designing the aircraft, whether it's the seating or the lighting or what we do for moving the queue faster, it's all been designed much before. So I think we just kind of put that in the communication.
Go ahead, Bin. Thank you, sir.
Indigo, designed for the Indian traveler.
And we're not the only people who notice the Indigo advertising. You know your advertising works when the competition notices. Market leader Kingfisher has put up these hoardings last week. They say the dig at Indigo is incidental and that the idea is to take on the low-cost segment as a whole and to lure Kingfisher loyalists back to the good times. And this is what Vikram Malhotra, head of marketing at Kingfisher Airlines, had to say about their campaign. He said, and I quote, Kingfisher Airlines has the unique advantage of being present across all segments of air travel service, Kingfisher First, Kingfisher Class and Kingfisher Red. Not only are we extremely competitive on fares across all segments, but when you bring in the service and experience aspect, we deliver a much superior value proposition, be it the full service carrier space or in the low fare carrier space. The campaign simply puts this proposition in a relative and interesting manner, close quotes. And now for some new advertising. It's from LG for their LCDs. Take a look. First on Storyboard.
Pictures distort on a non-IPS LCD panel. Experience true clarity on an LG LCD with IPS panel. Knock it to believe it.
And with that, it's a wrap on the show. Thank you for watching and do catch us again same time next week.